The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Good evening. Welcome to the Senior Show, where we have two wild and aging guys. There you go.
Hey, Neil. Neil's been a while since I've seen you. Gee, 7 days, I guess. Great seeing you. You look awesome today.
Thank you, Tim. You look good yourself.
I love the shirt and the jacket. You're very dapper today. What's happening?
Well, we have a nice event tonight.
That's right.
Tim and I belong to a group called the LIAFPN.
Long Island Accountants and Financial Planner Network.
Which I co-founded, and Tim's on the board. And we meet with some great like-minded people. I think it's important to know that the group we have, very high-end professionals in all kinds of financial areas. Accountants, attorneys, mortgage brokers, financial planners, and we meet.
Well, that's the reason why we created the show, Neil, right? Because
Exactly.
we're trying to help people navigate change through experience and peace of mind. And we can give people the peace of mind when they're trying to get through the hurdles or the planning that they're looking to do.
Right.
You know, in their 40s and 50s and through retirement.
And, it's funny because a lot of people in my field, and I had this discussion with an attorney the other day, who's going to be on our show later, are very limited to the company they represent, and they try and fit products to people rather than people to solutions. So
it's amazing how that works.
It's troublesome because, you need a multiple disciplined approach, and there's no one product that works for everybody. There's no one company. These career companies, of course, they want to sell their product. So they teach you how to sell just their product. So everybody tries their product to the left, their product to the right. It's crazy. It's one size does not fit all.
That's why I like that. The Long Island Accountants Financial Planner Network, because it's a group of individuals,
right? And
now we can sit down in a room, once or twice a month,
right,
and go through different scenarios and different inputs from different people from all different walks of professions.
Right.
I mean, how cool is that?
And how do they coordinate?
How do they coordinate it? And how does it all fit into the puzzle?
Right. Right. So tonight we do a networking event where we just get together and shoot the poop. I can't say the other word on the radio, I don't think. And then we have a meeting where it's more hardcore, where we really discuss.
Yeah. So if you are a professional, a financial professional, I mean, today is April 15th, so a lot of accountants are punching out at 5 o'clock today, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see who shows up tonight. That's because it could.
So we're going to be at the Huntington Hilton,
right?
5 o'clock. 5:30?
5:30 probably, yeah.
And if you want to stop in for a drink, say hello to Neil, say hello to myself, and the rest of the members of the LIFPN, come on down. We're more than happy to speak with you.
We do get a lot of financial planners to listen to our show, and they're like secret listeners. And all of a sudden I'll say, hey, I'm interested in that concept you said, but you'll be talking to them about something else because they're doing business with you, and then they'll go, oh yeah, I heard you talk about that on your show, and you're like, Oh, you listen? Oh, that's cool.
So it was funny you said that, Neil, because I was listening to your show on Friday, and you discussed, the second part of your show. You discussed a lot about, the tax-free tools like the annuities.
Well, it's funny because one of the questions my lead questions, especially people in business and younger people, I'll ask them, hey, what do you got tax-free coming in retirement? And they all look at you like, what? Like half of the people don't even know. Yeah, don't even. Or they're running small businesses. They don't understand that they need to build their own retirement because nobody's paying for retirement. When you're self-employed, you got a lot of balls going in the air. You got to worry about payroll. You got to worry about, if you got a pizza pile, you got to worry getting the pizza.
You got to pay the rent. You got to pay the insurances.
You got to worry about the
inventory.
You got to worry about the dough. It's all about the dough.
Oh, I'm sorry, Neil. I screwed up. Is that it? The timing?
No, it wasn't a joke. It was. So retirement, wow, what's that? Now they have new laws out, by the way, if you have 10 or more employees, and it includes seasonal employees, which is very interesting little things in the retirement space where you have to have a retirement plan. And if you don't put one in, the government will do it for you, and you'll use the government plan, which is usually more expensive, less flexible, and everything else. So for those in the retirement space, something to think about. For those that are in small business, when there's regulations and stuff, there's no way if you're doing whatever you're doing, whether you're running a pizza place, you're a carpenter, electrician, whatever it is, that you can keep up with all the tax changes, all the regulation changes, the OSHA changes, this changes. Yeah, I don't know how anybody does it. So
I don't know how they do it, because everything is so expensive. A friend of mine owns an audio video store, and he's a storefront right on Jericho Turnpike in Huntington, and the landlord's jacking up his rent, and what happens? That cost only gets fed down to the consumer, right?
Right.
So now everything he does when he goes into a house is going to be that much more expensive, because you just can't take it all on the chin.
Right.
It's got to be spread out.
Right.
And here's a relative. Well, I mean, not young anymore. He's probably in his late 50s, right? So now he's starting to talk about what's his exit strategy and what's his plan, and
right.
And what is he going to have left for retirement for him and his wife?
So the problem today is, I ask people, what do you got coming in tax-free at retirement? And that's what I talked about on my shows. What do you got coming in tax-free? Because when you're sitting in your a wild and crazy aging guy, you start to think about things like that. Say, darn it, everything I want to do is taxable. It's ridiculous. Not only do I have to pay taxes on my own money that I saved, including Social Security, which bugs the heck out of me.
You've been paying since you were 17, 18 years old.
Right. Not only do I have to pay taxes on that, but anything I buy, I got to pay taxes on that. So you could say my tax bracket is 20 or 30%, but at the end of the day, it's really 40 or 50% when you look at the tax on gasoline and the tax on this and the tax on goods, and this is money supposedly is after I paid in, I'm paying more. So the system is really skewed towards.
So how do you find more tax-free avenues? And this is my point I was getting to when you were speaking about it on Friday about these annuities, tax-free money.
No, life insurance is tax-free. Annuities is taxable later, but it's tax deferred. But they're all tax favored.
No, I'm sorry. When you're talking about annuities, you're talking about guaranteed money.
Guaranteed money, said, right? Income.
Yeah. So if I close my eyes and just listen to you talk, I got to be honest with you. It sounded like you were talking about a reverse mortgage line of credit.
That's interesting.
Because even with the reverse mortgage, the line of credit is like an annuity. It's guaranteed money. So even if the market goes down and your house values plummet, you still have that available line of credit. And you still have the guaranteed growth rate attached to it. So it's guaranteed money. And the idea is
it's really interesting.
Take it out early in retirement and let it grow. So when you're 60, 70, and 80, you have this huge bucket of tax-free money.
Right. And you're not paying, you pay a fee for it, right? But you're not paying for money unless you're using it.
Right. You only pay interest if you use it. Yes, obviously, like it's a mortgage like anything else, or a closing cost involved.
Right.
But the money itself, you only pay interest on the money you're borrowing.
So if today the interest rate's 7, I'm just calling it 7, it's probably 6.5, whatever it is, and maybe interest rates go down in a couple of years, and you want to use that money. And you know what? What's nice is you lock it in now, and then it grows every year. If you don't use it, it just grows. But by what? The same as interest rate factor?
It's based off the 1-year CMT. But here's
what's CMT? What's that?
The constant maturity treasury. It used to be the LIBOR. Then they did it with the LIBOR. But here's something even cooler, Neil, which is mind-boggling. And I only learned about this in the last couple of years when they had those floods in North Carolina and Florida and the fires in California. Any of those homeowners that had a reverse mortgage with a line of credit, even though the house did not exist, they could still call up the servicer and draw money from their reverse mortgage line of credit.
That's
the
crazy.
Line of credit is guaranteed.
That's a good point.
Still guaranteed to grow. I mean, so you talk about a downturn in the market. How about your house is gone?
That's a great point. And, back in the day when we were doing serious financial planning and seminars, we talked a lot about regular mortgages. Same thing. Everybody, the old days, it was like, pay off your house, get pension, get Social Security, and live a happy life.
Sure.
But paying your house off is a problem because we look at New Orleans when they had that disaster.
Yeah.
These people that paid their house off, and a lot of them didn't have insurance, are stuck.
Yeah.
And they can't even move anywhere. They have no money, no house. No, nothing.
So that is the most mind-boggling thing. I hear it all the time talking to clients, especially here in Long Island, right? $700, $800, $900 million homes, free and clear, and they don't have
100,000, not million.
I mean, a million, right? $1 million home, right? $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 homes, $1 million home. But I'm talking to people, and they do not have homeowners insurance now. Not homeowners insurance.
It's obscene.
So if anybody on this call is listening right now does not have homeowners insurance on the house, get homeowners insurance.
Yeah, really.
I mean, it's mind-boggling, right? And I mean, at first, when my heart starts palpitating, and I get to a calmer level, I said, "Listen, you need to get homeowners insurance first and foremost before we continue this conversation."
I have a story about that too. Anyhow, listen, you're listening to the Senior Show, and we're two wild
and aging guys.
And Tim.
Hey, Tim Kennedy here, your reverse mortgage guy, certified reverse mortgage professional. If you want to reach me, you can reach me at 516-729-6040.
And I'm Neil Himmelstein, host of the Main Street Code for Financial Success, as well as owner of Main Street Planning Group. Best way to reach me is 631-647-4694, and we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Back to the Senior Show with your co-host Tim Kennedy, and I'm Neil Himmelstein.
And we are two wild and aging guys. We're getting better, Neil. We're getting better.
We're almost there.
So, Neil, our first session went so fast, and what we were talking about, and brought up the scenario that, I talked to a lot of clients here on Long Island and New York that have these very expensive homes.
It astounds me.
And not have homeowners insurance. And not only do they have these beautiful homes, because they bought them, 20, 30 years ago for nothing, and now they just balloon to these huge, major, expensive houses, but they have nothing in the bank either.
That's scary.
And now everything they have is tied up in this house, and it's not insured.
That's insane. So I had a client, wasn't my client, actually it was one of my reps. Had to be 20 years ago. He was a long-term care insurance specialist. That's all he did, long-term care insurance. And he sold this 80-year-old woman a really nice size long-term care policy. And at the time, I was dabbling in mortgages and stuff. And he says, hey, this lady wants to get a mortgage. So I go and I visit her at their house. And she says, I want to get a mortgage. I need $25,000. I go, what do you need $25,000 for? She says, a tree landed on my house.
Come on.
And I have tenants upstairs. And I asked her, I said, okay. I go, do you have any homeowners insurance? She goes, no. I go, that's why I need a mortgage. And I'm like,
yeah.
First off, it astounded me that the agent, who was so myopic about getting her this, what was a very lucrative long-term care plan, which she needed also, never asked her,
about the rest of the package, right? What else is going on in her life, right? And that's part of the interview process, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, for you not to have homeowners insurance and to walk out of there and sell this woman long-term care insurance and not realize, and not only does she have a hole in her roof, she had a tenant in that freaking bedroom, and she was lucky the tenant wasn't there that night that the tree fell in her house. But she had no homeowners insurance. Which reminds me, big point here. 70% chance, over 70%, only reported 70%, that you're going to need some sort of long-term care in your lifetime. And if you're married, the odds are that one of you, it's like 89%.
It's 100%. Yeah.
No, it's not 100, but it's 89.
Close.
That one of you is going to need some sort of care. We're not talking about dying. We're talking about needing care. Because, listen, medical science can keep us along for a long time. There's more 100-year-olds, there's more 120-year-olds than ever. Because medical science has figured out a way. Listen, used to be you had a heart attack, right? And the next day, you're dead. Now, you have a heart attack.
And they send you home the next day.
Send you home. Sometimes they can, do it in the car, and same day, to put a stent in. Goodbye. Hey, you must be feeling better today. Hey, listen, I had a couple stints last year, and the doctor the next day said, oh, you must be feeling better. I'm like, what? Yeah, you should be fine. I'm like, they're like plumbers today.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that way 25 years ago. It wasn't that way 30 years ago. And if you have one of these Advantage plans, they may even do the operation in your car. We're getting close.
We're getting close. Listen, to be able to operate through the cell phone soon enough.
So Tim brought up a great point. Don't wait until the house is on fire. Don't wait until you have a tree come through your roof to be properly insured. And that's the problem. That's the calls I get. Okay, panic, boom, need this. Well, don't tell me after the tree fell on your roof, because now I can't even get you a mortgage because you have no homeowners insurance.
I get those phone calls all the time.
I don't know if you could do it now. Can you get...
Not if there's a hole in the roof. You got to fix a hole in the roof first. The house isn't... right?
Well, how do I do that? I got to get money to fix it. Where am I going to get the money from? And you know what? This was a house in Bayshore. It was a beautiful house. Probably worth... Today, it would probably be worth $800,000, right? Back then, maybe it was worth $600,000. Maybe when she got it, she'd been there a lot of years. Maybe it was worth $100,000, but she never protected it, and now she needs money. Why? Because she has a tenant, and she can't have a tenant anymore. She's got a hole in the roof.
Yeah, where's the tenant going to go?
So she lost her income as well.
Yeah,
I always lost her income.
I love that. I love that the non-smoking commercial where the guy's hair is on fire, and if your hair is on fire, you're going to do everything possible to put the hair out. You put the fire on your head, right?
I haven't seen that.
And the premise is your lungs are on fire. Your heart's like, but because you don't see it, because it's internal, you don't think it's a problem,
right?
But it's a problem. But if your hair were on fire,
right,
you'd put it out, right?
Right.
So the fact that you don't necessarily see the problems right now, they're brewing.
Right.
And you got to be prepared for that.
Right.
And I was just going to go into the, with the clients I speak to, I speak to probably one or two a month where one spouse has passed away.
Right.
And now they lost a certain percentage of that income, right?
Right.
Social Security, the pension, whatever the case may be. And 70, 80 years old, and they still have some pretty significant mortgage payments.
Interesting.
And now they can't make these mortgage payments.
Yeah.
But this is something they should have thought about, when they took out the mortgage originally. Maybe we should have talked about a reverse for purchase. So this way, nobody's responsible for principal and interest payment. But it's all about part of the plan. What's gonna and I know it's a difficult conversation to have. What happens when one of us dies? But maybe we should have that conversation.
But here's the thing, and doing more and more of this, but it shouldn't just be relying on you. You have to really include your children and your parents on the same plan, because we talked about your friends and some people last week. Something happens, you talked about your friend who's 54 years old who passed away, or I talked to somebody whose employee all of a sudden has to take care of their mother, okay, and all of a sudden their finances are hurt because they can't do their job.
That's right. Yeah.
Because they have to stay home and take care of mom. So these decisions should not operate in a vacuum. They should really include your family, and you should sit with Tim and myself and an attorney. An attorney can't do everything, okay? Listen, the attorneys, the elder law attorneys out there, their main goal is to get you on Medicaid. Here's how we can get you on Medicaid. We hate it. So they can't call themselves Medicaid planners anymore because the government really got pissed off, because the government does not want you to go on Medicaid, because the government has to pay for it when you go on Medicaid. That's when you run out of money. But their job is, how do I get this person? So now they call themselves elder care attorneys. Oh, we're no longer Medicaid. We're elder care attorneys. And then there's estate attorneys, which usually, if they're elder and they do estate planning, usually they're more understanding that, hey, these people have assets. I don't want to make sure that they deplete them. And, they could tell you all these great ways of depleting your asset. I could tell you how to spend your money, right? You could do that, right? But we don't want to lose control. And sometimes if we disperse our assets, we lose control. So you really need estate planning, not just elder planning. So, sure. Yes, it's important, but it's a piece of the puzzle. Yeah. It's not the whole puzzle. And I hate attorneys that say, I have this war all the time. They'll tell a client, well, long-term care insurance is too expensive. Well, yes,
it's expensive according to what? What's Plan B? What?
So they get these people all riled up. Well, it's too expensive. Well, I'll just do this. I'll do this plan that impoverishes me and not buy the long-term care.
Yep.
I get that every day of the week.
Man, I can't believe how fast these sessions go. It's unbelievable.
I know. It's crazy. And we're going to hang out tonight, too.
There you go. I'm going to see you in a little bit. Hey, Tim Kennedy here, your certified reverse mortgage professional. If you want to reach out to me, there's something I said today that piqued your interest, give me a call, 516-729-6040. Neil?
And this is Neil Himmelstein. Best way to reach me is 631-647-4694.
And we are two wild and aging guys.
Thank you, everybody.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.